I'm pretty sure some of you have been scrolling to your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and you have that kind of moment where you found someone younger and more successful than you, like an 18 years old who already have like $1 million or euros of savings in their account, or a 20 years old who just bought their first house. And you're there having this kind of tightness in your chest, and this self-loathing, self-pity, self-blame just comes up in your mind, and you tell yourself, oh my god, I'm already behind. I'm gonna stop you right there, and I want you to take a deep breath just for a second. If that's you right now, stay with me, because that kind of feeling isn't failure. It is just an exhaustion of trying to survive a life that was never built for you. And maybe you're thinking, I'm in my 30s, I haven't achieved anything. The people I know around me have achieved a lot of things. My neighbors have bought their own house. My classmates already have a family. My coworkers have this kind of savings in their banks. I just want to say, just breathe. I'm about to breathe as well. Just take a deep breath for me, just for a second. Because by the end of this video, I hope that you will feel lighter. Not because you magically change or something, but because I want you to realize that your worth has nothing to do with your timing. What I mean about timeline is like when our parents said, or our grandmas and grandpas always said, by the age of 20, you're supposed to have this many kids. By the age of 30, you already bought a house. That's the timeline that I was trying to say, and I'm trying to tell you. This timeline is actually based on different factors, and it's mostly based on the generation that taught us, and generation that molded us. The funny thing is, most people had already categorized these generations. We have the boomers, we have the Gen X, we have the millennials. I am a millennial, and Gen Zs. What they don't understand is that those generations have their own timelines. Some comes from struggles, from traumas, from a different kind of economy. For example, boomers, they can have a house in one salary. Gen X are more of a stable generation, and we millennials, we're still trying to go out at our parents' house in our 30s, trying to pay rent. This is actually more expensive than our sanity. So every generation, different timeline. So the question is, why are we still following a different generation's timeline that belong to a world that doesn't exist anymore? And if you ever ask, did I actually follow a timeline? Well, actually, yeah. Did I achieve that? Of course not. I didn't achieve any timeline that was imposed to me. So I'm gonna go from the start. I actually grew up in a Filipino household. And in a Filipino household, we really have this kind of timeline. Like at 18, you should be finished with school. At 25, you should have a stable job. At 30, that's the time you are allowed to marry, have kids, buy a house, or whatever you want to do with your life. And in our culture, there's actually only two things. If you achieve all those timelines in an early age, you're amazing. It's like, wow. But if you like still running or like behind those timeline that they impose to us, they will actually tell you what you did with your life. But here's actually how my timeline looks like. At 18, I finished school, took a profession that I was forced to do, which I didn't like at first, but then I love it at the end. I was still in a toxic environment. At 25, I moved to Germany because I thought I could escape that kind of traumas, but it seems like distance will not really heal anything from me. At 27, I started a new chapter of surviving from being bullied, going into debt, trying to figure out everything alone in a foreign country. At 30s, I was trying to figure out how to be an adult because it wasn't really taught to me, especially when it comes to finances, paperwork, and everything, and language itself. And I learned how to breathe without failing. I learned to not to be too much perfect. At 31, I actually decided to go to therapy to accept myself, that my character is not based on my past. And I also found out what my identity is. At 34, I started to live for myself and no one else. I started to chase the things that is actually meant for me and stop waiting. And if you really listen to it, none of them are actually in this kind of perfect timeline that my culture imposed to me. But it actually fit my life. That was my timeline. And that's enough. So here's what I want you to remember. Life doesn't have a universal timeline. There's no finish line, no scoreboard, not being too late. Starting late doesn't mean you failed. It means you survive long enough that you finally choose yourself. And honestly, most of the iconic people that we know started actually late. For example, Mel Robbins found her voice when she turned 40. Vera Young designed her first dress in her 40s. And Colonel Sanders, do you know him? He's the maker of KFC. He started his life at the age of 65. So trust me, success doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't have an age. It only has moments. If you're trying to tell me that I cannot change my life because I have problems or I have traumas, or whatever kind of things that you have, listen to me. Starting now doesn't mean that you failed. I don't care if you're in your 60s, 50s, 30s, or whatever age you are. The time that you're in your trauma, your brain cannot even make goals because it was so busy trying to protect you, trying to survive. And your nervous system cannot make those kind of ambitions because it's trying to make you safe. And you cannot even think of trying to be successful, to trying to live for yourself because you were busy trying to get by day by day. So if you decided to start now, that's not weakness. It means you're actually healing. So I want you to remember this. You are not behind. You are not behind. You are rebuilding. You are choosing yourself. And that's actually the most unsurviving thing that you can do for yourself. Stop listening to other people what you should do to your life because at the end of the day, those people who are telling you what to do, they will not be there anymore. They will not be there to even witness your success. They will not be the one feeding your family. They will be not the one who's paying for your bills. So start to choose yourself now and stop listening to other people. Stop living in that kind of timeline because as long as you're living, it means you always still have a chance to keep on starting. As long as you are living, it means there's always a chance. And there's no such thing as being late. And there's no such thing as being behind. We are not in a race. You are only doing your own race and not with anyone. If this video made you feel seen, tell me on the comments. What part of your timeline are you trying to reclaim yourself? And if you want more honest conversation about identity healing and growing on your own pace, subscribe so we can keep walking in this journey together.